Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We are here for our week 17 preview show. I am the commish, RC Carlton, and as always, I am joined by, I don't have anything clever to say, um, Alan Sandage. That was a great display of officiating last night, wasn't it?
It was a phenomenal job done by Jerry Jones and the crew.
That was great. I told everybody, listen, it is the curse is over. Jimmy is back in the family, and all good things gonna happen for us now. This was the problem. That's where it's Sunday now. It's Sunday. You're a preacher's kid. God can't forgive you if you have unforgiveness in your heart. You're supposed to leave your gift on the altar. Can I get an amen? And so
Yeah,
now,
that's what they say.
now
It's
that we
more-
all a family again, it's no stopping us, man. No stopping us.
God loves a cheerful giver, and
It
the
was
refs
good.
definitely gave y'all that game last night.
Bro, I keep trying to find a way for us to be right. There's not a scenario in which.
Nah, bro. I'm telling you. Look, the closest thing to the NFL admitting that they were wrong is demoting those guys. Like, that lets you know right there that the NFL thinks that they got it wrong, because otherwise they wouldn't do anything.
And they still try to lie in the press pool. But maybe he didn't. I mean, maybe he still didn't know. But it appears,
But
I'm not 100% sure because those kind of things confuse me. But it appears like he just had the wrong player reported, so it messed it up. That's what I got from it.
So here's my thing, though. I mean, I've officiated games before, obviously not at the highest level of the NFL or anything like that. But my understanding is the general rule amongst officials: you can't call what you don't see. And if you don't know for sure that the guy said something or not, then you can't call that. You can't throw that flag. Like, you just can't. We literally have that in instant replay. It's inconclusive. There's not enough evidence to overturn the call. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you throw that flag, man? Like, why would
But
you
he
go?
thought he didn't report though. He thought
Yeah,
he didn't think the
but
guy
here's my
reported,
thing.
or
Like, I think he was confused. The scenario you put out there where they were saying that, like, it was just too many people talking to him and he got confused. I think that's logical. I also think that is a coaching issue. He's going to tell the defense who's eligible regardless. So you don't have to
do all that.
Yeah, you don't
Yeah,
have to do all that stuff.
subterfuge.
Yeah. So that was unnecessary. But as the official, you need to get it right. As the player, you need to confirm with him, and that does fall on the player. I'll give him that. But there's no scenario where an offensive tackle approaches an official and he's not declaring. Like,
But then why did 70 come up? So they had the two guys they were talking about,
Yeah.
but then 70 came up at the end to the ref. Like, it's just weird. The whole thing was weird. They were trying to pull something off.
Dan said he talked to them before the game.
He did say that. He did say that.
I don't
Maybe
know.
he didn't explain it great. I mean, he's not the most articulate guy in the world. Maybe he didn't do a good
Oh
job.
yeah, he's not.
Maybe he didn't explain it correctly, or the
Can we
refs just
touch
tired
base?
of him.
Can we touch base on what I was talking about bad game managing? Like,
There was a lot of it.
Yeah. So here's what I've noticed, and I posted it in the group too. But if you are an analytical person, you go by the numbers. The only way that works is if you stay consistent with it. You have to see it through.
Yeah, you got to
talked about that with Staley, where he was like in sometimes and he was out. Like, no. If you're making aggressive plays, and this is why I like Dan Campbell, because he doesn't blink. He established early in the game he was playing to win. He was playing to win. He went for he faked a punt in his opponent's or in his own territory. Then he went for it on 4th and goal from like the 4 or 5 yard line, and then he gets down. He goes for it on those 2-point conversions, but it was like 3 times in a row. He tried. You know what I'm saying? So he established that he was in it to win it. McCarthy established on that drive that he was in it to win it. The minute he passed on 2nd down, he was in it to win it. The only way that works is if you get the 1st down, which is the whole point of you passing. Am I right?
Should be, but he's trying to win the game, evidently.
Yeah. So for some reason, though, he opted on the 3rd down or the 4th down, he opted not to go for it on 4th and 6, and he kicked the field goal, and he left them with 1:45 in a timeout. That's how you lose a game. That's exactly how you. The definition of mismanaging. So for anybody that's wondering about these coaches, if they're doing analytics, they got to see it through. You can't mix it. You can't be conservative and analytical in the same drive. You can do it in the same game, but you cannot do that in the same drive.
But
So
listen, this was the real problem. I mean, that wasn't great. The passing on second down was just idiotic. And the fact that you went for a home run, I don't know if that was Dak or I was saying, you went for a home run that didn't even go in bounds. That was idiotic. If you're going to do it, why not another slant? You did 57 slants to CD, so why wouldn't you continue that? But the real problem was we totally changed our, and I like Dan, I like Dan Quinn.
yeah,
Why did we play off the whole?
yeah,
We
that was
basically
really bad.
there isn't a literal prevent defense, but that's
Uh,
basically what
yeah,
people are talking about. There's no aggression anymore. We just gave it up. We just let them have everything they wanted to have.
Troy pointed that out too. He was like, when I think it was the second or third pass that they caught in front of
It's way
Gilmore.
off them.
Yeah, it's like, yo, where is he at? Why is he backing up? So I agree with that too. You gotta stick to your guns, man, because the only way they can get down the field is if you let them at that point, or there's a pass interference.
Mhm.
As
And
long as you,
two, I would say too, though, I gotta stay on this because y'all overlooking this. The single worst play call in the history of the universe is to go for the 2 point conversion a second time from the 5 or the 6. You know what the odds of getting one play, getting a touchdown for the 5 or the 6 is not. Those odds are not good.
yeah, no, I and so I understand that,
Who
but
goes
like
for
I
a
said,
2 at the 7 yard line?
the guy established he wanted to
But that's
win the
not
game.
playing to win. That's not playing to win.
I know,
That's
but I'm
just
just
stupid.
I also don't think that I personally I was saying this earlier. So if I'm the Lions, here's my logic behind it. Yeah, I don't agree with like, or I know the numbers behind going for it from that far off. But if you're the Lions, the only way, like, you want to control your own destiny. The odds of you getting the 1 seed are slim to none because you can't pass the Eagles unless you beat the Cowboys, right? You're probably not going to win in overtime.
Why
High
not?
probability,
Why not?
high probability they're not winning in
You
overtime.
did well against their defense all day long. I
Not
don't
really.
see that
Not
you. Yeah, you did. They didn't score. How many did they score? They scored
them
20.
dudes was picking. They
They
were they were
averaged 40. They averaged 40 a game at home,
they
and
were
you shut them
picking
down.
they were picking
Huh?
screen passes.
That was
I think they
unfortunate.
I
That
think
was
they had a good
unfortunate.
read on I think they had a good
Man, the
read on them.
offense. Well, maybe they would. That was bad.
Yeah, so
Jared Goff.
so I mean, if you plan to win the game, whatever, man. They're still gonna get their one home
You
field.
you really think there's more of a chance of somebody scoring from the 6 or 7 with one play on 2 point conversion than going to overtime and taking a
No,
chance?
no, 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 no. I think if, like, for me personally, like, this is me personally. For me, I would rather lose having the ball in my hands, controlling my
I
destiny
see what
on
you're
the two
saying.
point conversion, than running the chance of losing the coin toss, or somebody getting hurt in overtime.
I
No,
have
no, no.
Jair Alexander out there. You should be good.
I
Jair.
know,
All right, let's get to this week's games.
right? Yeah.
Patriots and the Bills. Big spread. You would think the Bills just going to roll over, but the Patriots beat them once this year, and they just struggled with San Diego. San Diego, I always do it. I should put money in it. The Los Angeles Chargers, they struggled with them, didn't cover, barely won. So, what do you think we're going to see this week from the Bills?
Well, I'm Team Zappy, so let me get my cover here. But now the Bills just need to win. It don't gotta be pretty. Just win, get to the playoffs. That's all they need to be focused on. They don't need style points. It ain't gonna change anything. But once they're in the playoffs, then they just need to continue winning. So, like, just ride the momentum. Yeah, you struggled, but you won, and that's all that matters.
This time of year, I think that's true, even though maybe you get a little worried when they almost, but like I told you, like I've been saying in my observations, these teams that suck, they get desperate. They play like these bowl teams. They'll do trick plays. They go for it. They just throw caution to the wind. They don't care. Devil may care attitude. So I would think the Patriots will cover. I don't know. That's a tough one. I would think that's 13 is just too high from what I've seen, the inconsistency of the Bills. Another good game. Now, I don't know if it's good or not, but they do play. Falcons play poorly on the road, but Falcons going to the Bears. Justin Fields.
It's snowing.
There's talk of Justin Fields. They keeping Justin Fields. I'd almost be tempted to get Marvin Harrison Jr. and just keep Fields. Say, hey, here we go.
You,
Tempted.
Now, man, look, I saw a report that they're going to continue with Eberflus, isn't that how you say his
That's the
name?
worst. That's the,
Yeah.
why?
If,
What?
if you're gonna continue with him, let Fields go. Let Fields go. I mean, you've seen what it looks like. It's not good enough. I don't know if it's Fields or if it's the coach. I want to blame the coach, but Fields hasn't done himself much of a justice either. So if you're gonna continue with this coach and this staff, let him get a quarterback. Just start over.
That
Offense,
has a point too.
not
I don't
defense.
understand what Eberflus has done to deserve
He's done nothing.
kind of. I mean, they're 6-9, but I mean, so if they win 7 games, or I don't know. I thought they had higher expectations for them this year. Uh, we got, gosh, man, I just started a franchise mode on Madden, slipping Madden in, and I'm the Falcons just trying to build them up. Ritter is horrible. Like you can't. I mean, you can't build anything around him. So I do see part of the problem. Just even on a video game simulation, Ritter is horrible.
Bro,
So, who you got?
I'm gonna go with the Bears because it's snowing, and you know how these dome teams do when it's like super cold weather and elements.
And then also Atlanta is really bad at home. So I mean, away from home on the road. So I would take the Bears. 3 seems like a lot for the Bears to be on
It,
anybody, but
it
and
is.
they blow games. But I'd go with the Bears. It's fine. Yeah, I'd go with the Bears. Raiders and the Colts. It's unbelievable that the Raiders are 7-8 with how they started the season. I think they started 1-5 or 0-5. They got their new coach. Now, what I want to see this man hired. I want to see Antonio Pierce hired. Don't do him like what's the name of y'all's defense
Stephen
coordinator? Yeah,
Wilkes.
Wilk. Don't do them like Wilkes did in Carolina. Give these guys a shot when they prove it. Just sign a 2-3 year contract. If it don't work out, it don't work out.
Yeah, no, he's got a good feel for the team. They play behind him. I love to see him with a quarterback with some real talent. Nothing against Aiden O'Connell, but he's not a guy. He's like low tier Jag. So
Yeah, yeah.
it'd be nice to see him get some talent. And I think Devontae Adams and the rest of the vets are sold on a Max Crosby. So yeah, I mean to be 7-8 after how they started to look like they actually know how to play football and game plan is an amazing job by him and the staff that's with him. So yeah, let him stay, and I hope they win today. I think this will be a
He
good.
is a very he and this will be our test. He is a very Dan Campbell-esque kind of coach. Same style, right? So
Yeah,
let's see if he would get the same opportunity. And he's more his interim coaching stint is much better than Dan Campbell's in Miami. So let's just see how it goes. That's all I'm saying. Let's see how that goes.
he's on the right franchise for that though. You know,
Yeah, they are more progressive generally,
yeah.
their history of it. Uh Puka Nakua is on. Well, I'm skipping a little bit. Who do you have for that game?
I'm gonna take the Raiders to
I
cover.
want to say something about the Colts, but the Colts they play a lot better at home than they do on the road.
You gotta give my boy
I don't want
Steichen some
I don't want
props.
to underestimate them. What'd you say?
You gotta give my boy Shane Steichen some props.
Yeah, they've been. He's a coach of the year candidate too. Um, 3.5 is too much, so I'd take the. If it was 3, I would go with the Raiders, but since it's 3.5 here, I would go with the Colts.
Mhm.
Giants and the Rams. I think it's like upward of 75, 80% of the money is on the Rams, and it does seem real obvious. 5.5, but Tyrod Taylor of the 3 quarterbacks has played the best of those 3. That's not saying much, but is this kind of like a trap game for the Rams, maybe?
I would hope not, man. Like the Giants suck.
The
I mean, even when they're being
indeed.
competitive, they're not good. Like honestly, just focus on Saquon and see what Tyrod can do by himself. I highly doubt that he's capable of beating the Rams by himself.
I mean, and I don't see an underrated person for uh and I hate to say it, but I've apologized to Matt Stafford. An underrated candidate is Matt Stafford. If you see what they've done with people that no one would ever expect to be successful, Kyron Williams, even though we don't necessarily give him credit for that, but Puka, I mean, he's not playing with the most talent you've ever seen in your life. These guys are coming out of nowhere, and he's playing just wonderful. Sometimes the stats don't represent it, but this is like maybe Matt Stafford's best season ever.
Yeah, and he needs like skilled guys. And Puka Nakua, whether we saw it or not, he's a skilled dude, bro. Like that man is
Yeah, he really is. He really is.
like him
I
and
don't know where he came from. I didn't even look at him. Did you look at him scouting wise?
hell no, I didn't look at
Never
it.
got to him. Like, and I went 10, 12 deep. I didn't hear the name
But
and
dude,
all that preseason stuff. Not
if
one name for the scouting.
if you
Not
watch
one time.
if you watch his tape from this year, I don't think there's a route he can't run, which is
Yeah,
amazing for a quarterback. And then to think, most teams are fortunate to have one guy. He's got two that literally have no limits to their route tree, and I
yeah,
think
and
that's
can't really be guarded.
a great game or a great year.
Always open, always open. And I like those kind of stories. I really do. I like the kind of stories where somebody just comes out of nowhere or somebody makes a comeback.
You know,
So
nephew.
you said what?
That's Dana White's nephew.
Are you serious?
Yeah, Puka Nacua.
I did not know that. That's interesting. So do you have who you have covering this game?
Rams got this. They better.
You would think. I don't know. Something weird. Give me the Giants. Something weird
There's a
about
look
that game.
because they got the Niners next week, so there's a chance for a look ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that too. It's just, and sometimes those kind of, it's on the road, you're traveling. It's just a weird game. I wouldn't put my money on it because I'm not that rich, but it's it's an interesting spot.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the Cardinals and the Eagles. Eagles, you never know what you're going to get for them. 11 seems like a lot with a team like this. Cardinals are 3-12, backdoor cover machine. Kyler Murray, how do you see it going down?
Bro, the Cardinals better be tanking, man. This better be an easy Eagles cover, and the Cardinals just concede. The Cardinals need to have their players opt out like Florida State did because they need.
They do kind of do that in the NFL. They start resting guys. It's like, shoot, the NBA, they opt out all the time. But so yeah, they should cover this, right? And it should be in an angry spot.
Look,
It should be an angry spot for them.
anytime you're looking at a double digit spread, you always want to hesitate. But at home, I think this should be good. Should be is the proper phrase there. Should be.
Dag, we got the Eagles are 0-8 against the spread in their last 7 games. How can they be 0-8 in his past 7 games in December or later? Or man, no. Anyway, they're 0-8 in this time frame. In their last, maybe it was a typo. Their last 8 games or so. So that's not the best either. But I still have faith. Maybe a lot of times in the NFL, what'll happen is we'll see the players, but we're 2 years. It's like we're late on the decline because we're not in there. And maybe these Eagle players, some of them are declining. Maybe they're not, the line, or so maybe we're missing something because something is because I always thought they had the most talent in the league for the last 3 years. Maybe that's not true anymore. They don't play like it.
They got a lot of wear and tear on the defensive side,
Yeah.
especially in the secondary and the linebackers. So if the front can't get it done and people have time, I think they're easier to exploit this year than they have been in the last year or so.
They also lost 2 coordinators, and I don't think people realize how much of a difference that makes. It's just you're not in that person's mind. You can't really replace him unless you're better than him, and you might not be better than him. And they lost 2 coordinators that automatically went to head coaching jobs. So that means that they lost 2 really good coordinators. So that's hard too.
I wasn't a big fan of Gannon, but you already know how I felt about Shane Steichen.
Yeah. All right, let's skip on down to. Who did you officially take? Did you officially take someone?
Yeah, I'll lean to the Eagles.
The surprising Tampa Bay Buccaneers a year ago.
Somebody,
a year. You surprised? You're not surprised. You predicted them to win the South.
Dude, there's only a game separating the Bengals, the Buccaneers, the Saints, and the Falcons. That's not surprising because all 3 of them I thought had a chance to win the division.
Well, I didn't think they'd have a winning record. They're gonna win this game too. They blow people out. They blew out Green Bay. I don't know. They're surprised. I thought 6 wins maximum. I didn't think they would be in contention for anything, to be honest with you.
Whoever wins this division is an active bye week for the playoffs.
They're frisky, man. They're real frisky, but they can't beat those good teams. I don't think
They ain't beat nobody good.
I don't think so. I think we could handle them pretty easily. I would hope. I don't think we could play that bad. We're more consistent about just straight up blowing games. It doesn't seem like that's what we do anymore. We might
Mhm.
lose, but we don't get embarrassed. We don't look out prepared. Might be a small mistake here or there. So, what have you thought of Baker Mayfield's resurgence?
Resurgence, man.
Come
Look,
on, man. He's playing
no,
well.
no.
Yes, he is. And I'm not a
Baker
fan.
is still Baker. People just somebody just needs to come along and show it. But I mean, he's doing better than I expected because I thought he was going to get benched by now. So I
So I
guess
did too.
yeah,
Yeah.
my bar was so low. So I'm saying I guess he's meeting expectations.
The Bucks are 1-6 outright against teams with winning records, and 4-3 against the spread. They did beat the Jags last week. Who do you have?
I got the Bucks. I got the Saints. Derek Carr on the road.
They're awful. They're just terrible. They
I'm
really are
good.
terrible. 2.5. I think too many. A lot of the public has that too, but sometimes people just suck. Like the Saints aren't good. There's nothing appealing about the Saints. I guess you could go to their defense, but bleh, they're just meh. Let's go. Let's not go there. Let's go Panthers and the Jags. This is my ironclad lock. You got last week. It should have happened. It just didn't work out. Pay the mortgage with this. Lock it up. Panthers 6.5 against the Jags. Something. Would you take something called C.J. Beathard with 6 points?
What? Oh, wait.
C.J. Beathard is starting.
The
Beathard
Sunshine
is starting, and
finally.
6.5.
This is why bad teams stay bad. Sunshine should have rested 2 weeks ago, and then he'd probably be good to play today, and the results would have still been the same. So you lost 2 games in a row, and you still don't have your quarterback because you're an idiot. So no, I
They
mean,
just, I think they're just desperate. They don't understand why they're losing. They were what 6-3, and they lost 3 straight since then. So I don't think they. I think they're just lost. They're drowning, and
you
they
know
don't know how to
losing
come
though
back.
because they keep trying to force an unhealthy quarterback to play.
He
He had
does have those injuries. He's
sprain.
had a lot of injuries. High
He had
ankle sprain,
high
concussion, something
sprain,
else.
high ankle sprain, came back in less than a week, and a concussion, and somehow survived and got through protocol at the last minute to play again. He's been hurt. Man. Like, let the guy rest. Jesus.
Yeah, it's hard to do that with your starting quarterback if he's willing to play, but sometimes you just got to be a little smarter
No.
and not rush him back. And I don't know, just let him get healthy.
But
But I don't know why CJ Beathard. We see all these backup quarterbacks coming in, doing a little something, and they went with CJ Beathard.
but here's my thing about rushing them back again. Look at the results. They lost 3 in a row. Does that change whether he's there or not? It doesn't. So you
Well, they
might.
didn't know. I mean, they didn't think they were going to lose
But
3 in a
but
row with
still,
that.
but you gotta know he's got a high ankle sprain. Most of what he does is based off his mobility to get out of pressure because he holds the ball too long. Still, we know that. And then the way he throws, he's a full body thrower. He's not just an arm thrower. So you would think if he can't put pressure on that leg or on that ankle, that's going to affect his throws. And then with the concussion, like that's common sense, man.
CJ did. I mean, CJ didn't. I mean, but if you pass, a lot of times people, unless you're in a tour situation, if you pass the test, they're gonna put you back out there.
The
But
Tua situation, that's a bad example.
I'm saying that's the only. No, what I'm saying, the only way they will make you sit is if it's that bad. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, well,
It takes that for them to be like, all right, man, all right.
hey,
I mean, otherwise nobody cares that you play a concussed
isn't
person.
this supposed to be like a third party neurologist type thing that looks into this stuff?
Well, on definitely on the field, but I don't know about during the week for the
Oh,
process. I have to look at that. I thought you
they,
were right, but with the
yeah,
NFL, you're not sure. It's probably their doctor. You know what I'm
he
saying?
he wasn't all there. The game he played when he passed concussion protocol either.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. And yeah, he didn't. He looked terrible. So he definitely looked terrible. Dolphins and the Ravens, the game of the week. Last year they actually beat the Dolphins actually beat the Ravens, but uh, it's gonna be tough because I mean, it would be if you're looking at from a gambling perspective, it would be like a spot where maybe you would take the Dolphins. but you got with the Ravens
Easy
riding
money,
so high.
easy money, Baltimore, man. They ain't
You
got
think so?
they ain't got Moser.
They
If they
don't.
yeah, if they win without those two dudes, then Baltimore just got caught slipping.
That's what I'm seeing. I mean, Baltimore, you had the biggest win right there. You got, I mean, they're still a very explosive offense that you don't see much. Maybe they'll shut them down. They have had a really good defense, not calling anybody 2000 Ravens, but their stats, some people say, are
But
comparable. I'm not hype. I'm
but just
not believing the hype.
think about it. If you had to drop your schedule and you had to play the Niners, you would love to play the Dolphins after that, or vice versa. Like same offense.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. You saw it already, but
Yeah,
also on the other side of the coin, the Mike McDaniel saw how they reacted to the same offense.
that's true
So
too.
yeah, that's like so
True
it
too.
depends on how you look at it. I tend to I don't think I would touch it, but I tend to always in history, I think bears me out, or I have to look it up for the actual stats. But when a good defense plays a good offense, usually the good defense has the advantage. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because they hit him in the mouth or they know how to disrupt them. But the big games I've seen, if you go all the way back to the Rams and the Patriots Super Bowl, you go back to Seattle against Denver. If you're playing basically the best offense against basically the best defense, it looks like the best defense usually comes out on top.
Well, I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that a defense has more flexibility in how they can make adjustments, and the framework of an offense is rooted in a scheme, and you don't get so far from the scheme that you can reinvent the wheel mid game. You know what I'm saying? You can do some creative, reinventive things on the defensive side of the ball to kind of keep up with an offense or to give them something they've never seen before. But it's highly unlikely that an offense will give a defense something they've never seen before on a consistent basis.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I just think too a good defense is going to be physical, and they're going to make like what I used to teach and what I used to try to do when I play basketball. When you're a defender, you want to make it as humanly uncomfortable. If
Yeah,
this guy is used to having space, you get up on him. You make every blade of grass, every inch of the court very difficult, and everything he normally is allowed to do, you don't allow. And that's what good defenses do. That's where you see the guys, they're gonna take cheap shots. They're gonna play through the whistle. They're gonna hit them at any time it's legal to hit you. And that kind of thing wears on the offense. So uh if I had to, I feel like too much of the public's on the Ravens, but since you said it, I might go do it. And the way Lamar is playing, they're saying the stats. When I see him, I see the best player in the NFL, and I am not a fan.
you know what makes
So
what makes it easy for a good defense too, when you don't do the fundamental elements of your offense to make it work. I'm not calling out Kyle Shanahan. I'm just saying, if you are a motion based offense and you stop doing motions,
you know
it
what make you so happy? I just saw this stat. You know what make you so happy?
what?
Mike McDaniels and the Dolphins run motion 81%
Oh,
of the
oh,
time.
oh yeah, no, Mike
I knew that would excite you though. I knew that
Mike
would
is
make
not
you so
stopping.
happy.
Yeah, and that's one thing I give him credit for in his first 2 years of coaching. He's not switching up for nobody, bro. Like he gonna try to make it work. He gonna own it if it don't work, and then he gonna make necessary adjustments the next time around. But he's never gonna get away from what makes his offense successful.
Titans and the Texans. Our guy CJ Stroud is back. Maybe he could help Ohio State. Maybe he's F you.
That's far.
Oh gosh, he's back. 5.5. I think it's going to make a big difference. I think obviously they didn't have a starting quarterback. They still look competitive, but Houston is just a pleasant surprise. And they're just competitive no matter what. They're always competitive. Seems like an easy spot. 5.5 seems kind of weird. Like the number literally seems kind of weird. I think the Cowboys are favored by that, and I got burned last night. That's what I took. But how you see it playing out? And the Titans don't have anything to play for.
Nah, but Stroud's back, man. This should be easy money, man.
You would
Shit.
think so. And you know he's gonna want to have something to prove, and he's gonna
Well,
like
but you also gotta look at it like if you're the Texans and you look over and see CJ Beathard starting, you
yeah,
gotta
yeah. It's like we gotta win. We gotta
yeah.
win. That'll be the saddest thing that they won't even win a division. They
No,
won't even win the division, Jacksonville. It
no,
is very possible that
perfect.
that will
It'll be
happen.
perfect. And I'll be tagging Corey and asking him if what I said a couple of weeks ago was true or not, because it doesn't matter, man. Like think about it. The Jags had pressure placed on them by the Texans because they wasn't supposed to be here. The Colts too, honestly, because they're 8-7
Yeah,
too. Yeah.
yeah,
So you see those two things, and you do feel rushed. Like you got to get your quarterback back out there. We got to win. You don't want to
yeah.
drop 2 to 3 games. So like I think that all that does play a factor into how some of these teams make their personnel changes. And in the case of the Jags, they gambled and then they lost.
The Titans are 1-8 against the spread in the past 9 games against teams with a winning record. So that's making me think go all the way with the Titans. We got Seattle. I need this so bad. I need this so bad because if Seattle versus Steelers said Seattle, if Mike Tomlin wins, that stupid streak will continue. He
I
will
mean,
be assured.
loses stupid streak will probably continue if they go 9-8.
But well, they still, but it's guaranteed if they do. I need them to lose out, so this will be over, and people will stop talking about it. It's the most overrated streak in the history of the universe. Most overrated streak since Goldberg. Take your call offline. It's about as fake as Bill Goldberg's streak.
Yeah, I don't usually do this, but I heard Ryan Clark talking about how it's time for Mike
The
to
fake
leave.
RC.
And I kind of believe him. I'm kind of with him. Like, regardless of how this season plays out, Tomlin needs to change the scenery. He needs to go to another team. These
I
kids,
can't wait. Without that little safety blanket of the Steelers organization, I want to see what he can really do. I want to see it too. But he said on the other end, though, he was saying it like, y'all don't appreciate him, so you'll see what life is like without him. Well, if you hire a dumb coach, you will.
yeah.
You need to go out and hire a good coach. Get Ben Johnson. Then it's a little different, even though we need to keep our African-American coaches in the league, though, so they need to replace him with a brother.
Ben is gonna have his pick of the litter, and if I'm Ben, I'm probably going to Los Angeles if they don't go ahead and hire Harbaugh, which I don't know if you saw the report.
I saw.
Yeah. And he
man, what kind of coach don't have NFL ties, man? What kind of agent? What they trying to put out there?
This dude is only working with him. So, bro.
He's a ridiculous person. You know why I like him? At first, it's just somebody's spirit, right? You know who my favorite coach of all time is, right? In basketball?
Who?
Larry Brown.
Yeah,
if Jim Brown doesn't have the spirit of Larry Brown Larry Brown was always doing something shady, jump from place to place, coach his butt off, make the team better, and then he got a dip, either scandal or he likes something better.
Every time, bro.
It's just so yeah. Jim got the spirit of Larry Brown, and Bill Parcells is like that. Bill Parcells was interviewing for coaching jobs at the Super Bowl. He had that going on. He was with the Patriots, and he was talking to the Jets. And that was media day of the Super Bowl. Like, that's the kind of coaches I like, evidently. But they can coach, man. They're just not. They're not housewives. They're not. They belong to the streets. Who you got? Who you got?
I got the Steelers to cover. Probably.
It's home. I can't. There's no way. I'm taking Seattle, and this is why, besides my hate of Mike Tomlin, there's no way Mason Rudolph can have 2 good games in a row like that.
He don't need to have a good game. He just needs to not have a terrible game.
He needs to have a good game. He can't. Most of the time, those dudes throw for 180 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. That's what their quarterbacks. It's Duck Johnson. It's Duck Hodges. My boy Duck Hodges. Anybody seen him? Is he available?
I don't know.
So give me the Seahawks. We got the Chargers and the Broncos. You probably got that. I don't know if we need to harp on the Russell Wilson. Do you want to do a Russell Wilson rant, or you want to do it? Well, we talked about it on the podcast. We talked about You Got It in a Minute, fam. We did.
Yeah, I was just saying, there's no need to rant on it. It's shady business, and this is why the NFLPA is one of the worst representatives. Like, I just feel like it's crazy that you pay your dues to be represented, and then this kind of stuff can still happen. If there's a guarantee, don't expect the player to waive the guarantee. Like, that's silly.
Like, what? Why are you coming to me? I'm like, that's a you problem. What are you gonna do with me? We signed the contract, and that's the thing too. If they come and say, "Look, I outplayed my contract," do they do anything? No. I mean, sometimes, but most time, no. Who was that held out? All the running backs. Back to Melvin Gordon this year, who was trying to do it? Colts running back Jonathan Taylor. He outplayed his contract. and you don't hook him up, so and you made it harder for people to hold out.
Yeah.
So don't give me that crap. But again, and this is back. I'll go on a rant later, but it may be on some other show or something. But why do you support labor? I mean, why do you support the management? You support management. I support both being business people. If you want to be like that, then they can be like that too. It's a game. It's a business. No problem with that. If both are going to treat it as a business, but don't ask the players to treat it like it's little league, and then the owners to treat it like it's big business.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's trash. The Chargers and the Broncos. I I got some kind of feel. Well, I mean, look at that. I mean, you're basically saying that you quit. You basically quit on the season when you bench Russell Wilson. So what's the motivation of the Broncos to do it? And we saw how hard the Chargers played last week.
Eastern Stick, baby.
Easton Stick. I love Easton Stick. I just like his name, I think. It's a cool name. What's up? What's your name? Easton Stick? Sound like a movie character. Sound like something in like a high school comedy or something like that you would see like in the 90s or the early 2000s.
And tell Richard I totally agree. I totally agree, Richard. But if I'm Sean Payton, if you're really a talent evaluator, there's no way you look at Jarrett Stidham play and say that he gives us a better option to win. And
Well, he alluded to some of that too. He said we can't change the offensive line and all that stuff. And
like that was part of my issue is that the excuse that was given doesn't make sense. Like if you just say it's for financial reasons, I would respect that a lot more than you looking me in the face and saying that, well, Stidham gives us a better chance.
yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. We all know why. If Russell
Okay.
Wilson made what Stidham cost, do you think he would be on the bench? No.
Yeah.
And Russell Wilson hasn't been great, but it hasn't been bad.
Yeah.
So I mean, and it's not like they have the highest powered offense of all time. Your boy Jared Judy is a
Blah,
glorified
blah, blah.
slot receiver, glorified saltine slot receiver. The other guy on the outside is good. Is it Cortland Sutton? Or yeah, Cortland Sutton. He's good, but I mean, after that, what do they have? What do they have?
They got Mims Jr., bro. He fat.
Oh yeah, he's everybody. He's one of those dudes that everybody hypes up and never does anything, and he shows a flash that people get excited. That's
They don't give him the ball. They don't even
yeah,
give him the ball. It's goofy.
Denver is favored by 3.5. I would hit the Chargers so hard on this. You have to talk me out of it. How do you see it?
Hey, you went with the Panthers last week. Might as well go with the Chargers.
Hey, they covered last week, didn't they?
Yeah, they
won. Yeah, the week before they didn't. I had them and they didn't. It was just pretty miserable. But and which jig is playing better? Bryce Young is playing a lot better. Like it's getting better. Get last 4 games of the season. Maybe get him an actual weapon. And then let Bryce Young run the team. Screw it, because that owner has got issues. So you got the Chargers too?
Yeah, I'll take Chargers.
He said free Jared Judy. Man, Jared Judy. I got some words for Jared Judy. Bengals and the Chiefs. Our boy Jamar Chase, who might not even play, just talked junk on the Chiefs. Said they didn't have anybody on their secondary.
That was kind of funny.
And now he's not going to play probably. that's really the irony of it all. But how you see it going down? I don't think the Chiefs. Before I say that, I don't think the Chiefs are back. I just think the Chiefs had just played an easy team. They're still the same to me.
It should be a get right game for the Chiefs. Bengals got a lot of secondary issues too. Like
they're tough though. They play you tough.
That's gonna wear thin when you got a quarterback that you can't really win with. Or you
that was an aberration. The 2 good games he had was the same. Oh no, 2 bad games. It's the aberration though.
More interceptions or a couple more like WTF plays for them to be like, yo, we can't win with this guy. We're not gonna make the playoffs type vibe, and then that's all the Chiefs need because the Chiefs we already have seen that the Chiefs are very front runner.
Yeah, evidently.
Yeah.
So, and as long as Tony's hurt, they won the last 2 games. Tony didn't play, so maybe as long as Kadarius Toney doesn't play, maybe they win. I don't know what his status is for this week, but maybe that's the key. That dude is a jinx. Everywhere he goes, a jinx. I don't know. But I don't know that I don't think they cover. I think the Bengals have always played them well. 7 is a lot for a team that's playing as poorly as the Chiefs. And the Bengals are 8-7. They're competitive. Maybe this Kansas City's defense will take over and make it difficult. But I like I like the Bengals to cover a lot because 7 is a lot. I'm not sure who they can beat by 7 right now.
Well, I'm not sure either, but I'm sure they can beat the Bengals by 7 today.
I'm glad you're confident. My boy Jake Browning, baby. Jake Browning. All right, we're on the Packers and the Vikings. This is the kind of game where nobody knows. Somehow Nick Mullins threw for 400 yards last week, but he also threw 4 picks. Gosh. And then we've checked in a couple times, but what have you thought of Jordan Love this year?
It's up and down, but like I said, that's what you expect. He's still technically a rookie. He hasn't had a full season of starts, so I'll be more critical next year. I think he's done okay, and Matt LaFleur is a solid coach to groom a quarterback. So I think there's some promise there.
It's this game is, and I think too they're on a lot of veterans, so we don't have a lot of veterans. You don't have a lot of people that a quarterback can like rely on for technical stuff. So I think some of those things are miscommunications, and they're going to grow together. So I like the concept of them growing together as an offense, and I think that can be very. And you get a couple of veterans. You need like a James Jones or like a Randall Cobb like on there to teach the other players, like one of those kind of players. They just happen to run away with Aaron Rodgers. So I like what they're doing. It's hard to trust the Packers. Good God, it's hard to trust the Packers. But I don't trust the Lions. I mean, I don't trust the Vikings either. I would go. It's only one. I would go with the Packers, but it's scary to ever trust them, especially on the road.
Isn't Hall starting?
Oh,
Hall?
oh, let me double check because I saw that, and then I
Think
saw that, and then I saw it somewhere.
well, not now.
Yeah,
He's not starting.
yeah. Jaron Hall is starting, even though Nick Mullins threw 400 yards. And I've never seen anything good from Jaron Hall, and even on his highlights from college.
He's
So
he's a
I mean, it's
he's
like, all
like
right,
the Alex Smith type game manager, but
you
he,
watch somebody's college tape, and you're just like, okay, like nothing. I didn't have a strong feeling for, didn't have a strong feeling against, just mediocre.
I mean, just another guy. But yeah, I think he again at this point just get the ball to Jefferson, let him cook, just exploit the space in the Packers secondary, just in general how they play defense. They're not great tacklers, so get the ball out quick, get it to guys that can get you yards after the catch, and manage the game. Like
And Hawkins is out for the season too, so that might and he was like a good what would you call it? He was a good safety valve for any of their quarterbacks, but so you won't be having that. But you also have Jefferson. Addison's been out. I'm not sure what his status is
but you got
for.
Justin Jefferson, bro.
That's like yeah, just force feed him. But like somebody on Twitter was like, let's see what happens if you just give him the ball every play.
Yeah,
Just throw the ball every play
25
and see what happens. Just as an experiment, because I don't see what else you could do with that offense.
If you've got to Google the person covering him, then throw him the ball.
Yeah, I agree with that. Let's go. I think that's our last game because they for some reason they don't do Monday nights. The Saturdays are our Monday nights now. You have any best bets?
Uh, Not really. I mean, no, because all our cap was the competition games, and I can't help those guys out.
Yeah, I wouldn't help me either.
My best
Don't
bet
help.
was yesterday, in the refs tried to take it from.
Yeah, well, yeah. All right, folks. You enjoy the game, Alan. Everybody enjoy